With E3 2017 looming on the horizon, it's hard not to get excited for what Kojima might have in store for us at the event. His highly anticipated new title, Death Stranding, will most likely be highlighted at Sony's E3 2017 press conference, which takes place on Monday, June 12th, 2017 at 6 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. Eastern. That's only a little over a month away, so I figured now is as good a time as any to make some predictions about what we can expect from Death Stranding during Sony's press conference and beyond. Let's begin with a prediction that I think is pretty much damn near certainty. Hideo Kojima will show a brand new Death Stranding trailer at the event. Hideo Kojima has never been one to pass on the opportunity to make a big splash at the biggest video game expo in the world, and I don't see that changing this year. I think it's less a question of will we get a trailer and more a question of what will we see in the new trailer. The safest assumption you can make right now is that this trailer will be yet another cryptic cinematic trailer that runs in real time on the Decima game engine. I would love to say that we might see a glimpse of gameplay this time around, but considering that the game has only been in development for a year and a half, that prospect just seems highly unlikely to me. While I wouldn't rule out the possibility that Kojima might talk a bit about aspects of Death Stranding's gameplay, I definitely wouldn't expect like a gameplay presentation. For that, I think we will have to wait at least until Tokyo Game Show 2017 or PSX 2017. Now, even if we don't see gameplay, I do expect Death Stranding's E3 2017 trailer to be less of a teaser like the first two trailers were, and more of a full-fledged trailer that will finally give us some idea on what the hell this game is actually about. I think E3 2017 will mark a point in which Death Stranding moves past the teaser phase and goes into the full announcement phase. I feel like right now we are in that Phantom Pain Moby Dick studio phase in which Kojima has shown us footage of his new game, but we can't quite make sense of it. But come E3 2017, I think it'll feel a lot like GDC 2013 when Kojima finally revealed Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, along with a new trailer that provided a lot of context for the game's story. In a similar fashion, I think Death Stranding's E3 2017 trailer will provide enough context for the game's story so that the audience will be able to formulate some kind of synopsis or premise for the game. We might finally be able to tell our neighbors and friends what this game is and why we should be excited for it. To that extent, I expect Death Stranding's new trailer to feature spoken dialogue from actors like Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, and whoever is voicing the 3D scan of Guillermo del Toro. I also suspect that Kojima might finally reveal the names of many of these characters and maybe provide some context about their roles and how their paths are intertwined within the confines of the game's narrative. Alongside showcasing this new trailer that details a basic synopsis, features spoken dialogue, and reveals character names, I also predict that Kojima will announce new cast members involved in Death Stranding and tease their respective characters. Perhaps at E3 2017, Kojima will finally announce Kevin Durand's involvement in the project, who Kojima met up with at San Diego Comic-Con 2016, along with Mads Mikkelsen, who we know is involved in the game. I'm also fairly confident that after focusing on male actors for so long, Kojima is ready to finally announce some female actors who are involved in the game. And I believe that the most likely candidate right now is Stephanie Houston. I say this because hints of her possible involvement are too blatant to ignore at this point, from the way Kojima put on the Stephanie Houston hat in the Mads Mikkelsen episode of HideoTube, the way Kojima tweeted a blurry image featuring a female actor who looks a hell lot like Stephanie Houston being 3D scanned into the game, the way Stephanie couldn't comment when she was asked directly during Dutch Comic-Con about theories of her involvement, and most recently, the way Stephanie coyly tweeted this image of herself alongside a poster of Mads Mikkelsen. I'm fully aware that this is all circumstantial evidence, and by themselves, they might not mean much, but put them all together and there's a story forming there. Now, if Stephanie is in fact involved, I do question whether she'll end up playing the lead female character. No offense to her, but I do think that Stephanie Houston is still too inexperienced as an actor to stand alongside Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen as a lead character. My theory is that if Stephanie is in fact involved, she'll end up playing a substantial supporting female character. For the lead female character, however, I do believe that Kojima is eyeing a Hollywood actress. So far, theorized candidates include Emma Stone, Emily Blunt, Alicia Vikander, and Scarlett Johansson, based on Kojima's tweets over the past year. Now, before you rule that Kojima's Twitter page isn't a good source for prospective actors, do keep in mind that it was through Hideo Kojima's tweets that rumors of Mads Mikkelsen's involvement began, and these theories all turned out to be true in the end. So if I were you, I wouldn't disregard Kojima's tweets regarding his obsession with Emma Stone's performance in La La Land, or tweets like this photo of a Mads Mikkelsen figurine standing next to a figurine of Black Widow played by Scarlett Johansson in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. None of it is definitive evidence, but we do know that Kojima is aiming for Hollywood actors with Death Stranding, as proven by Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen, and I don't see why he wouldn't want the same treatment for the lead female character role in Death Stranding. Once again though, it's all circumstantial. For now, all I'll say is that at least I am 90% confident that Stephanie Houston is involved in Death Stranding. And I do think that there's a good chance her involvement will be announced at E3 2017 to generate some hype. So the new extensive full-fledged trailer, the announcement of new cast members, all of these I expect to happen during Sony's press conference, but after that, I do expect Kojima to participate in some kind of interview. This kind of post-press conference interview is par for the course with Hideo Kojima. This interview will most likely be hosted by Jeff Keighley, who will probably ask Kojima some questions, and Kojima will likely take this opportunity to maybe further elaborate on what we might see in this new trailer. At the same time though, in classic Kojima fashion, do expect him to keep his cards very close to his chest. I am almost certain that for every question that Death Stranding's E3 2017 trailer will answer, 10 more new questions will arise that Kojima will keep mum about. At the same time though, you never know what information Kojima will strategically reveal during an interview, so I would tune in to those if they do in fact happen after Sony's press conference, which I am very sure will happen. And after the interview, Kojima will call it a day, and we will probably see more at the next major event. That could be Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, PSX, who knows? Finally, for predictions, let's talk about release date. I personally don't expect an exact release date to be announced at E3 2017. Maybe a release window if we get lucky, but a release date, I just don't see it. So far, the only clues that Kojima has provided about when we can expect Death Stranding to come out is that it will be before the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and before Akira takes place. That's 2019. So it looks like Kojima's implying that their goal is to launch this game sometime in 2018, most likely late 2018. So I think the best we can expect is a 2018 label at the end of the trailer, reaffirming what Kojima hinted at before. But again, an exact date is just, it's too soon for that. But to sum up my E3 2017 predictions, I definitely expect a brand new trailer for Death Stranding that's like 99.9% sure. I expect that this trailer won't be just a teaser trailer, but rather a full-fledged trailer that will give us more context on the game's story, its characters, the world, etc. I expect that we will finally learn a few of these characters' names and hear them speak. I expect that Kojima will announce new actors, females in particular, namely Stephanie Houston. And finally, if we're lucky, we might get a few tidbits of what we can expect for Death Stranding's gameplay and what unique mechanics Kojima is aiming to implement. But again, all of this will likely be through word of mouth. Don't expect an extensive gameplay showcase of Death Stranding. So I don't expect gameplay footage, and I don't expect an exact release date. It's too early for both of those things. The best we can hope for, again, is a release window of 2018 or something. So that's pretty much my basic rundown. And knowing Kojima, he will throw some kind of curveball that nobody saw coming, and we're all gonna lose our collective minds because of it. And I'm totally fine with that. I look forward to those moments in which we all lose our collective shits. I'm just really excited for E3 2017. There are so many great games on the horizon, especially from Sony, and I think E3 2017 will mark a pivotal point for Death Stranding's marketing campaign. I think we're finally getting to a point in which Death Stranding is moving past the teaser phase and will begin to aggressively advertise concrete aspects of story and gameplay to maintain audience interest up until the game launches. At the same time though, I hope they don't reveal too much about the game. I hope they don't pull a Metal Gear Solid 5 and show almost every cutscene in the game throughout various trailers released throughout the course of many years. I love that these Death Stranding trailers are vague, and if they can continue to do that while providing just enough of a thread that we can hang on to, just enough of an understanding of the game's premise and gameplay where we know what the hell this game is, but we aren't spoiled on all of the aspects and intricacies of the narrative and gameplay, as long as they maintain a fine balance in that regard, I think we'll be good. So yeah, there you go, folks. My personal E3 2017 predictions for Death Stranding. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know in the comments below what your predictions are for Death Stranding at E3 2017. And to be further updated on all things Death Stranding, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.